LA Knight is one of, if not the fastest rising star in WWE history. He legitimately became the megastar and his run was white hot, but WWE has cooled him off a lot. So the question that's been reoccurring on Twitter that I've seen a lot lately is, did WWE fail LA Knight? In short, I'm gonna let you decide first, sound off in the comments on what you think, and I'm gonna give you some examples and some background story to see if I can change your mind on what you truly think. Let's take a look at LA Knight's landscape just a year ago, which he said himself was right when he started to get pops from the crowd, something that he wasn't used to. He just finished his feud with Bray Wyatt, which RIP Bray Wyatt, we miss you so much. I wish he was still here. But then we moved on to WrestleMania season, and he was not a part of WrestleMania season.
They pulled me into a room, and they were like, what's your favorite WrestleMania moment since you've been here? And I was like, oh, let me tell you about it. And I went on a whole diatribe, but I digress.
So he wasn't part of WrestleMania. He didn't catch a lot of steam until about this time, but it didn't really pick up until right around Money in the Bank.
Yeah! With everybody saying, yeah!
And he started getting so much momentum that he was legitimately the fan favorite to win the Money in the Bank.
This briefcase above me is the key.
And there were so many people that were mad that he lost, including myself. But looking back now and seeing where Damian Priest is, it's a good thing that LA Knight did not win the Money in the Bank. But the crowd was fully behind him. They loved everything they did. They ate up everything he did. Then he had a nice fun feud with The Miz to where even John Cena got involved. And John Cena even endorsing LA Knight, showing us, the crowd, like, okay, the company is serious about him. The company is getting behind him. To having a full-on tag team match versus the Bloodline.
1 week ago.
Which would then lead into his very next feud with the top guy in WWE and Roman Reigns. And in my opinion, even putting my bias aside that I'm a big LA Knight fan, I do think that he looked good and he did a very good job with his feud with Roman Reigns. I thought he did great on the mic. I thought their match was solid. LA Knight isn't some technical master in the ring. He's not going to put on 5-star classics. But I think they got the job done and they were able to make LA Knight look like an actual main eventer, which is great because I think we all knew that he wasn't going to win at Crown Jewel. We all knew that. But I think this was a test for him to see if he could sink or swim in the deep end with the big dog. And in my opinion, I think he swam and I think he did it very well.
I've been out here run one telling everybody whose game this is. Not yet.
But my biggest issue with that, and LA Knight even mentioned it himself, which I agree with, is I think they almost pushed him too hard, too fast.
Maybe there was a little too far of a push, a little too fast, and jumping straight up to the WWE Championship back at Crown Jewel was a little faster, where I almost worried that it might make people go, how are they really? They're not going to do this. They're not going to shove them down our throat like this, are they?
Because he went from having no plans right after WrestleMania.
There were no plans for me after the Royal Rumble. There was nothing. Because I was trusted to be good enough to hang with Bray and make him look good.
So anything after that almost seems like a letdown. Yes, he had another main event match versus Roman Reigns in the Fatal 4-Way. But after that, it cooled down so much. And as of recently, he's been getting less and less time on TV. And it's weird because about halfway through the year, everybody thought that eventually, somehow, some way, he was going to have a match with Logan Paul for the United States Championship at WrestleMania 40. And I think, for the most part, most of us wanted that match. Most of us were asking for that match. We were claiming for that match. And for some reason, we just didn't get it. Which I think now that they announced that SummerSlam is in Cleveland, I think they want Logan Paul as champion at SummerSlam versus Randy Orton. So instead, LA Knight's first WrestleMania match will be against AJ Styles. Is that a failure? Absolutely not. He's in a marquee match with a future WWE Hall of Famer and one of the most talented wrestlers of all time in AJ Styles. Majority of us wanted to see him versus Logan Paul and LA Knight winning. And no, I don't think LA Knight needs a belt to solidify himself as a legit contender, a legit superstar in WWE. But Logan Paul actually described it very well on what does it mean when the WWE puts a championship belt on you.
The WWE doesn't just give this belt to someone. It is them entrusting you with their publicly traded company worth, $4 billion at the moment.
And I'm unsure what WWE truly thinks of LA Knight. I think that they like him, and I think that they are high on him, but I don't know if they fully trust him. And you could tell that there's some frustrations, even with LA Knight himself.
Are you frustrated not to be in the title picture in Philly?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are frustrated.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
And it's a frustration, but it's not a complete frustration. He's obviously grateful. He's having a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of people are like, oh, it should be for a championship and should be this and should be that. look, man, it is what it is. And you're talking about a hell of a spot to be in. And I'm not crying about it.
He's been in the business for 20 years, and we just thought that at WrestleMania 40, it would be his crowning moment, his crowning achievement, basically saying all your hard work for the last 20 years has paid off. So do I think that WWE failed LA Knight? No, absolutely not. They did not fail LA Knight. I think his and AJ Styles' road to WrestleMania is a little spotty, a little botchy. Not because of anything that they're doing. They're just not getting enough time to build up whatever story they're trying to tell. Of course, as I'm making this video and I'm almost done with it, but on SmackDown, they did a great segment with LA Knight and AJ Styles where LA Knight breaks into AJ Styles' house, gets arrested. It was a fun, wacky moment, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it had added so much texture to the story itself. But at the same time, it was only 2 minutes long, so they got a 2-minute segment. He's having a WrestleMania match against AJ Styles at WrestleMania 40 years of WrestleMania. Because this seems to be like a blood feud, I do hope that they add some sort of stipulation to this match so it's not just a basic one-on-one. They've been trying to kill each other for the last 4 weeks, even though in total it's been like 2 minutes of screen time. And am I upset that LA Knight isn't fighting for the US title? Yes, but the fact that he's at WrestleMania and he's in a way different spot than he was a year before, I can't complain. I've just seen so many people on Twitter and on Instagram and all social media just saying that they think LA Knight fell off. They think that he lost his steam, that they don't trust him anymore. They don't believe in him. No, that hasn't happened at all. He's still the megastar. He still gets the pops that he was getting all year. He's still one of the top merch sellers in WWE. And if you're selling merch and you're selling tickets, they're not going to forget about you. So I don't think WWE failed him. I think they almost just pushed him too hard, too fast. They should have just kept him in the mid-card, fighting those mid-card guys, not challenging for the WWE Championship, because everything under that, it's like, all right, well, you had your chance and now you're back to the mid-card. I think there's more feuds that they could have gotten him into. And while it was fun to see him against Roman Reigns, it was cool. I was fucking proud of him. And we were seeing him on TV every week. He had promos, he had matches. To then I feel like the last like month and a half, it's been like, where's he been? Because going from the main event back to the mid-card and everything else after seems very lackluster. But having your first WrestleMania match at WrestleMania 40 versus AJ Styles, I don't think he's complaining. But what I do hope is something after WrestleMania. I hope they get him into something big, something that we can all get behind, because I still think there's way more to tell with LA Knight.
I created one hell of a foundation in 2023. Now it's time to go and start creating the legacy and start making those things to hang my hat on. Start building the resume to where people can say, all right, this guy legitimately can make a claim to being one of the best of this era, if not one of the best in the whole thing. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, oh, this guy, he's terrible.
And I know as pro wrestling fans, and I'm a victim of it too, is we as fans, sometimes we get very impatient when things don't go exactly how we think it's going to go or how we want it to go. Because I'm learning myself to just be patient. Pro wrestling is fun and patience is key. There's long-term booking, there's actual plans in the long term, and there's payoffs when you actually get invested and you trust the process of what's going on. And Triple H said it best, good things come to those who wait. That's an exact quote that he was saying about LA Knight.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't lie, Triple H did not fumble that, because after that, he won the SummerSlam Battle Royal. He was able to main event a PLE with Roman Reigns. He was in high key matches. He had a fatal 4-way match at Royal Rumble. He was in the Elimination Chamber. Good things are still coming. And only time is going to tell, but LA Knight is not a failure. WWE did not fail LA Knight. There's just so much going on. Me personally, I just want a little bit more LA Knight time. That's it. I have a feeling we're going to go from questioning, did WWE fail him, to LA Knight is on the legitimate best run of his entire career. It's going to be even bigger than it was the year before. So I'm excited to see what's next, because I know that they're going to have a great match at WrestleMania, and I hope there's something big following along. And if you want to keep following along and you enjoy content like this, then check out my latest video about why I think Darby Allin is stupid. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace. Yeah.